Gentlemen, what are we up to tonight?
Did Brian accidentally ban
Yeah, I
you?
think you might have accidentally banned me, and that's really messed up, bro.
Are you running from the cops right now? Welcome in, everybody. We have a call-in show, and we got some football to talk about. We had some coaches talking about, maybe some signs of what things are going to look like, and we also had some former coaches talking some shit. Let's just call it what it is. We had some former coaches that are talking some shit right now. But first things first, Brian, how you doing today?
I'm doing pretty good. How are you?
Doing all right. And for those wondering, Brian's daughter has not missed a beat. She's doing well.
Phenomenal. She's at dinner now.
Like nothing ever happened. She's tough as nails.
Yeah. It's funny that she rebounded that quickly.
Faster than Brian ever would. Brian would still be milking that thing. His daughter's like, what happened, bro? We're good, dude. Look at this thing.
Yeah. She told me on the way to the hospital, I don't know if I shared this on Wednesday, but on the way to the hospital, she goes, it looks like my elbow's on backwards. Like just calm as a cucumber.
Casually.
I'm like, yeah, it's because it is backwards.
It is. But don't freak out. She's tough as hell. And good on her, man. I'm glad she's feeling much better. Pit Snipe, wait, I missed this week's earlier show. What happened? Do you want to share?
Dislocated her elbow and broke her arm in 4 places and had to get 4 pins put in.
Basically,
surgery on Tuesday.
Right before Tuesday's show, Brian's like,
yeah,
I'm going to the emergency room. So that's why we had the show on Wednesday, because we had a little mishap on the trampoline out there. So,
yep.
But we are here. We're ready for the call-in show, and Brian's daughter's feeling better, which is good, which is very good. So appreciate everybody who offered up prayers and thoughts. So let's go ahead and just, where do you want to start? Let's not, okay, maybe we could hold the Eckler stuff because we got a call in here.
I could care less about Eckler. Did I post the wrong link in the chat?
Yeah, you posted stream early. Well, no. That's right. That's right. I guess
we'll find out.
That's the right one. So call in, go ahead and click that link. No video required. But let's go ahead and just we'll talk about the coaches that are on the team currently. And let's start with, the offense, Dana Holgorsen. I was able to listen to Dana Holgorsen and what he was talking about. And one thing I will say that I did like that he called out. Let me pull up my notes here if I can find it. I took my notes on a notepad instead of a Word document today, which really screwed me up. I don't know why I opened my notepad instead of my Word doc. One thing I will say, we talked about Calandry being a dog. He confirmed Calandry is a dog. Basically, he's a ball player, and his efforts trickling over into the. He did talk about this offense being more athletic, not quite as powerful as last year. So I will say that. And I think a lot of that identity probably starts at the quarterback position. We got a little bit more athletic, but we also just got a guy who's a little bit got a little bit more of that physicality in him. So overall, it sounds like the quarterback room, he's feeling pretty confident. In the quarterback room, it's just a matter, he talked about, do we have wide receivers that can get open and make plays downfield? And now do we have a quarterback that can get them the ball when they make plays downfield, when they get open downfield? So overall, it sounds like the wide receiver or the quarterback room, he's feeling pretty good about. Calandria just kind of carried over. Basically, he kind of confirmed what we thought about Calandria, where he's just kind of that guy who's got that juice to him.
Got that moxie.
Got the moxie.
That'll win over a locker room real quick. Hold on. My ring light is flickering, and I'm going to turn it off.
Okay. Easy day.
Yeah. I don't have the best light now, but it was going to cause a seizure. I'm home alone. We don't want that.
Yeah, no. Another thing, too. This was important. I think this kind of goes to, we got Rashawn in the chat here. And I think Rashawn was talking about this a little bit. Great day, man. What's going on? Appreciate you being here, by the way. Rashawn was talking about this a little bit. Look, we don't know how much we're going to run the quarterback, right? But it seemed like today we kind of got a little bit of an answer on how they want to utilize it. And basically what Holgorsen said was he kind of just was alluding to the fact of like, we're in the Big Ten. You don't want to run your quarterback 15 times a game. You don't want to run your quarterback in a bunch of designed runs. However, he adds the element of the off-schedule play, the ability to scramble, the ability to just let your, get your eyes down the field a little longer, let your wide receivers create some openings. And he talked about how that was the most important part of this, and not necessarily design runs, which I appreciate. That I do want, because like scripted quarterback runs are typically easy, I feel like, formation wise, to pick up on. So I do appreciate the fact that they're going to kind of just let him work. They're going to call some passing plays. They will mix in probably running plays here and there, but they're not going to overdo it just because we have a mobile quarterback. They're going to let him kind of create off script if he needs to.
Yeah, designed runs you probably want to keep into that 5 to 7 range per game. But I think his mobility is also why they didn't really go hunting in the portal for a running back. You're probably between Mackay, between Mosey. What was that?
I'll get to that part too, because he did mention the running back room, and it was pretty interesting.
Yeah, so I think you're not going to have that true workhorse like we had last year with Emmett, but if you can get 600 to 800 yards from Mackay, 300 to 400 yards from Mosey, and another 400 to 600 yards from your quarterback, you've actually increased your production. But also, like we've talked about with that QB run element, it creates a lot more issues for the defense. We've seen it at Nebraska time and time again, even with remotely athletic quarterbacks who can run.
Absolutely. Yeah, and to what he was talking about, the running back room, he talked about how, first off, I think it was I might have been Sam McEwen, if I'm hearing the voice correctly.
It's definitely Sam McEwen
that asked the question. Did you hear that?
Yes, I watched about 5 maybe-ish minutes of it, like just the highlights that they post on Twitter.
Gotcha. So you did hear that part where he was talking about how he likes what we have at running back, and was talking about how like, hey, like, if we add more people here, and he's like, you're worse than assistant coach, because Sam McEwen tried to blame the fans a little bit, and it is the fans, but it is the media as well, because the media is honestly, the media funnels the same question as the fans. Let's be honest.
Yeah.
And I like the way he answered it though. Like, not only was it the fact that, of course, if you add a player, you have to remove a player, but secondly, he just kind of doubled down on what we have in the running back room and what he likes about what we have at the running back room. He talked about how Mackay basically made some runs that he don't think Emmett could have made last year.
Yeah, and I don't think Emmett's going to like me saying that.
And while Emmett is good in a lot of ways, like Mackay does some things better. He's faster. That is for damn sure. He is faster.
He's bigger.
He's bigger. He's faster, and he runs with the same level of conviction. I don't want to say more, because like I feel like him and Mackay both are like 1A and 1B in terms of like, we're not going to go down easy, And so I think he likes what we have with that one in Mackay. And then he did mention, having that little bit of a power element with Quentin Haas, if he can stay healthy. That's the biggest thing, of course. We got to keep him healthy. And then talking about even, mention guys like on offense. I'm not saying like running back, but this is a guy who could, play a little bit everywhere. Janiron Bonner. We talk about Janiron
as long
Bonner.
as he comes out of spring healthy, because I know he's sitting out part of it.
All
of it.
So he talked about like Janiron Bonner going down changed what they wanted. Just him going down like changed what they wanted to do offensively across the board. Because he talked about Janiron as a guy who can, get down the field and make plays down the field, but also you can bring him down to crack block a guy on the end if you need be, or get to the second level and get a block on the linebacker. So it seems like for the most part, Holgorsen likes what we have weapon-wise on offense. The wide receiver room seemed like the one where he's like, we just need to make sure we got guys that can get open. And that has been a problem over the last 2 or 3 years. I know we're making a point in the running back room, but we've had trouble with wide receiver separation, even with the talent that we've had in the wide receiver room for a few years now.
Yeah. A lot of it was poor route running. Was that 2 years ago with Banks and Nayor? Yeah,
Yes.
2 years ago. Really bad, lazy route running. Last year, it just seemed like they were outside of like the screen game. They just were not getting separation at the top of the route, out of the break. They were not beating press man coverage, even with remote consistency. Danke was probably in short yarded situations the guy that didn't need a ton of space. He didn't even necessarily need to beat the guy off the line because he was more physical than Jacory. But Jacory, that's where like him this season has to be able to change and elevate his game. Isaiah as well. I mean, he still had some issues getting open outside of some screens or just straight go balls. So that's the biggest concern for me on the outside, at least, is just, do we finally see that development in beating man coverage and being able to get open?
Yeah, because Jacory, for what it's worth, like if he can just get a little bit better with his release packages or just get a little more physical at the top of his route, like he has the speed, he has athleticism, do a lot of things well. And that, of course, will open up a lot of the other guys too. So, yeah, I did like that he mentioned that, because I do think that is something, like, we've had talent at the wide receiver room, and I think that's why, like, a lot of us haven't pointed to the wide receiver room as an issue. We just point to the quarterbacks, that type of thing. And the running back room really kind of overpowered everything last year. But I think that is a point of contention that, like, people don't really point to the wide receiver room, is like, we haven't really got much out of that. We've gotten a lot out of running back room. So, like, why are we questioning that as much? We really need to, and I think it's just essentially the fact that we have had, like, talent, and we've gotten, do you think there's some truth to the fact that we've gotten guys in the portal? So in the offseason, we don't point at the wide receiver room as an issue. And then during the season, we're trying to figure out, like, why the wide receiver room is an issue, But yet every offseason, we're like, well, is the running back room going to be up to the par? Well, what's been the big issue? The wide receiver room.
So I'm glad you brought that up, because when you look at the breakdown of like the ref share or the NIL, they were paying Danke a pretty penny. They were paying Isaiah, Jacory, good chunks of change. Jacory likely got another raise after a really good freshman year, decent sophomore year. They probably paid pretty good for Quasi Gilmore to come in, or Gilmer, sorry. The year prior, they probably paid Jamal Banks fairly good amount of money. Isaiah Nayor, fairly good amount of money. You're not paying your running back room as much, but you're getting substantially more in return. So your ROI right now on your receivers, to be blunt, is negative. You have not recouped any of that. You should have been able to, I think. You had the quarterback to do it. Your offensive line struggled. When it comes to running backs, I think the one thing we can point to is consistency with their coach, and who they've had the same guy there for going on 4 years now, preaching the same techniques, the same message. Wide receiver coach McGuire was what, 22, 23, 24? He was younger than some of his players. That is a huge issue. Dykeel Shorts is coming in, and now you're in year 2 with Dykeel Shorts. Hopefully you can see that development. You saw a lot of that in the run blocking game from the receivers last year. But at the end of the day, the receivers, they need to be able to get open.
100%. Yeah. And that needs to be one of the biggest question marks this offseason. I don't think it has been. I don't think we've talked enough about the wide receiver room. Another couple players he mentioned, let's just talk about Luke, talking about the tight end room. Luke Lindenmeyer, he said he might be the strongest tight end currently. Pad level's good. And he said, don't know how we can keep him off the field with his power. So it's good to see Luke. I mean, Luke has been one of those guys that really you need him on the field. So it's good to see he's continuing that and kind of still getting stronger. So I think maybe the tight end room might be okay this year. But he said it's strength.
Just a heads up.
So let's give what happened?
The link is getting rejected by YouTube.
What is that? I don't even know what that means.
I don't know.
Does that mean we can't have a call-in show? Hold on. Let's try this again. Copy. Paste. Somebody click that link and then you're forced to be in the show. Test it out. And if it works, you're in. Because we're going to pull you in immediately.
Yeah, I just noticed the rejection on it. That's weird. I've never seen that before.
Luke and Luke. All right, let me.
Yes,
I'll dive.
Luke Lindenmeyer, I think, is a very good tight end, very underrated.
Let's see if that works. I'll go through yours. I haven't read through all the comments. Just kind of popped in a couple of them, but I'll go through them in just a second. Let's see a couple other things. Holgerson did say he thought we made strides offensively last year, alternative to popular belief. And then let's see, was there anything else? One thing I did want to point out. Oh, we got Pitt. Pitt tested it out and it worked.
I don't know, man. I'm glad Pitt's in because
he's stuck with us now.
I don't know why the link I posted didn't work, but yours did.
They don't like you.
It's the same link.
Now we got Boneled in here as well.
That explains why we didn't have calls at the start like we usually do.
Pitt's not loading in. Yeah, it does. Pitt's not loading in for some reason.
He's probably on a satellite dish for internet.
Pitt, try again. Whenever Boneled leaves, we'll pop you in. Boneled, what's going on, man?
Oh, not much. I was going to leave because you said to try the link. So
you're stuck now. We told you.
You're stuck now.
Okay, that's fine.
You've always got good commentary. What's on your mind?
No, if you don't got anything, we'll pull Pitt in here, but his stuff wasn't working yet.
Well, it seems to me like, they need to use Carter Nelson a little bit more because the few times he touched the ball, he scored a lot. It seemed like,
He's hurt though right now. He's out for spring again. Do you remember the comment a couple weeks ago? I don't know if you were watching when Makai Nelson's dad was on Bone, but he talked about, I believe it was Mr. Nelson that talked about putting too much weight on too quick and how it's harder on the body and it leads to these injuries.
Because your ligaments have to build up with your strength. It's kind of like when people get into oh my God, I'm echoing. Echo. But anyways, essentially, like if your body strengthens up and your muscles strengthen up like faster than your ligaments aren't going to be able to stand up to that load. And so you kind of got to, like I tell this with a lot of clients that I work with, that the initial process is going to be a lot. Like we do a lot of isometric stuff. Can you mute again, Brian?
Echoing again.
We do a lot of isometric stuff, which is basically like, let's say you're doing a, shoulder press. You do the shoulder press and you hold for 30 seconds. That's an isometric. And what that does, it strengthens up the ligament. So yeah, you got to kind of bring everything up together. If you put too much weight on or too much strength on too quickly, your body's not going to be able to handle that. It's going to feel heavy. It's going to feel, you're going to feel like really sore and tender in your ligaments and stuff like that. So yeah, that is very much an issue.
So are they trying to get him more muscular, or what's the issue here? Is he eating too much?
Probably a little bit of a combination. It's not just it's a combination that I don't think it's necessarily more muscular. I think it's stronger. And by nature, when you get stronger, you're going to put on more muscle. So I think they're just trying to work on like a more functional strength for him. And by nature, like I said, the tight end position, you got to have a little size to you. So, those two work hand in hand though. So you don't want to outgrow your athleticism. You don't want it to slow you down. So there's a process to be had where you got to train kind of, your central nervous system plus the muscularity, like all that stuff. So there's a specific way that you have to build these guys up. It can't just, that's why like a lot of athletes just can't go into the gym and start lifting weights and just weight training specifically. That be the sole reason they get big. There has to be a method outside of just lifting weights. That's why bodybuilders have so many ligament issues and shoulder issues and stuff like that, because they just go in there and they just try to get bigger and bigger and bigger and lift more and lift more and lift more, but they're not working those other things that work on athleticism and really bringing the ligaments in the body up with it.
Well, you would think all of these things that we have there, like the recovery stuff and all of that stuff, that it shouldn't keep the players down as long as they are. But maybe they're recovering a lot faster than what they should be, and
injuries are going to happen.
That's it.
Injuries are nature. The injuries are nature of beast. Regardless of you could be perfect, and all it takes is one wrong movement, and you're going to get hurt or something's going to, there's no exact science to this. And I wish there was. I went to school for exercise science, and I still don't know the exact
Well,
science.
I know exactly what you mean. I had my meniscus tear hurt years ago when I was playing football by our rival deliberately after the whistle, but that's besides the point. No flag was called or nothing, but
Yep.
But anyways, I like our running back room, to be honest with you. I think there's lots of potential there, but they can't. I think a lot of it is with us. It's still mental. It's like the part that creeps in is like the negative creeps in. Like, I can't do this. I can't.
With the fans or with the players?
The players, okay, and the fans. It's kind of negative. And as far as Sam McEwen goes, well, I never did like him anyways, but and that's my prerogative, but but I do like Tim Verghese though. But he's that
I liked him,
recruiting guy. So
I liked him.
Yeah. Well,
no,
God.
No, I'm with you on that. Yeah. I don't necessarily think I think we've have had that from the players, but I think that's something that, I don't know. I feel like this room that we got right now is supremely confident in themselves.
Yeah,
well,
I agree.
Well, that's good to know. I mean, it just seemed like, like last year, once we got to 5 wins, what happened? I mean, were we, it
Who's gold, man?
I mean,
yeah. Good question.
I mean, that's like
it
to me
of that 9-win season Mike Riley had, where you were looking good, but in the record column, but what you saw was not really reality. It was not a good football team.
That Ohio State game hit like a ton of bricks.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, all right. I'm going to let somebody else call in. So the link worked for me. So
thank you, brother.
Yep. I'm out.
Appreciate you, my man.
See you, Bone.
All right. We got Emmett Hintz in the background. Emmett, what's going on, man?
How you guys doing?
Good. How are you, brother?
Good. How are you?
Oh, I'm doing all right. I just had a few questions about mainly the running back room. So you got Mosey, Ives, and Mackay. Those are your 3 main guys in the running back room. All of them have less than 28 carries. All of them had less than 28 carries last year. I think Jamal Rule is going to really boost onto the season, this off season mainly, and earn that number 1 spot. Do you think that's a reality?
No. Well, I don't think he's going to get the number 1 spot. I think that's Mackay's to lose, and I don't think he's going to lose it. I think Jamal Rule is going to cause, I think he's going to make it to where he has to see the field. But I just don't think it's feasible for him to, especially as young as he is, to be able to come out and beat some of those guys that, Mackay is a dude. And like his dad Rashawn has been talking about, like the biggest thing that he had to work on was like this. And like once he has that straight, like he's going to be a problem. I mean, he was a problem already, but we saw it in kind of the bowl game. Like he's going to be a real serious problem. So I think Jamal Rule is going to cause some noise, and I think he's going to make himself, be a player in that 2, maybe that RB2 role, RB3 role, because they did allude to him today that he may run better than all of them. That doesn't mean he's the best player of all of them. That's Mackay. Mackay is the best guy in that running back room, but Jamal Rule can definitely make some noise and cause himself to earn some serious playing time this season for sure.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that. I mean, I think you kind of have to find a role on this team somewhere almost every game. I mean, the kid's 6'1", 210 as a freshman. That's a Big Ten ready back.
Yeah,
I think
once he gets some,
I think you have to. Go ahead.
No, you're good.
He can be a good short yardage back, I think.
I think you have to get him on the field one way or another, whether it's a goal line back or like I just played a lot in the bowl game as a third down back, fourth and 1, 4th and 2. that dude's going to be a wrecking ball, and he's only going to get better.
I agree with you. Yeah, I think we're going to see a lot of good from Jamal Rule this year. But yeah, I think that's just a testament to like how good Makai is. The fact that Jamal's not going to be the starter, but he can, like with Quentin. Quentin, he hasn't really shown us he can stay healthy. We love what Quentin has in talent, but we need him to stay healthy. So Jamal Rule is definitely going to be a guy who could step up and potentially, take some carries away from a guy like Quentin. But I think you're right. I think Rule is going to be a dude who, in with how Holgerson mentioned him today, saying like it's not. I don't take it lightly that he said he may run better than all of them. That means he's seen some serious things from Jamal Rule that he's really excited about what we got. So he's definitely going to be on the field for sure this year, and probably, they're going to probably start out with, a light amount of carries and see what he does with them. And then but he's going to definitely have the opportunity to take on a bigger role for sure.
With Ives, I mean, I love Ives. I've liked him since he was a freshman.
Same here.
Big kid, just can't stay healthy.
Yep.
He's got tremendous upside. He's got speed. He's got the strength. Just can't stay healthy. He's been battling the same hamstring injury since he was basically a freshman. He's a junior, I think.
Mm-hmm.
I believe.
Yeah.
And the other thing was the tight end room.
Mm-hmm.
I truly believe Luke Lindenmeyer is going to lose that job to Luke Sorensen. I mean, that dude's an athletic freak.
I think Luke Sorensen is, and I agree with that.
But I very well could be wrong on that.
I think with the tight end room, it's going to be such a utilized spot. Like, I don't think it matters who's the tight end one. I think those guys are just going to be used in such package spots and rotation. Like, I think they're all going to have a place in the system of this offense. I think Lindenmeyer can do the most all around stuff. I think he's the better all around tight end. But I do think the other guys are a little more athletic.
Yeah, I agree. I could see them doing a lot of 2 tight end sets.
Yeah.
Some big with him.
That's exactly what I was ready to say.
Yep. And then
he's another guy you have to get on the field.
100%. Yeah, it's one of those things that like you don't keep him off the field. I don't care if he's a tight end 2, tight end 3. Like, you find a way to get those guys on the field. But I think we're going to use that tight end room pretty intentionally with how we use each of those guys for sure.
Yep. And then the cornerback room. There's a lot of guys in there with Tarver, Amari Sanders. You got Sierra Wright. You got Jameer Khan that could play corner. He's more of a nickel safety guy, but could play if needed. Danny Odom's going to be that number 2 corner. I don't see a world where he does not start day one. I mean, he's the number 2 corner in the nation coming to Nebraska. I mean,
Brian,
I'm not underselling corners by any means, but I think he's just talented enough. He's going to start day one.
Yeah, I'm not as high on the depth at corner than a lot of other people are. I think at the top you're pretty decent.
I can't hear Brian at all.
Oh, you can't?
No, I cannot.
Does this always happen?
You can take it. I'll back out and come back in real quick.
Yeah, we're gonna let him back out and come back in, and then we'll let him continue off of that. Let's see if this works real quick. Because I give my thoughts on the last 2, so I just want him to be able to give his thoughts on the cornerback room. Sorry about that. 1 second. He's popping back in. All right, try again. Brian, go ahead.
Testing 1, 2. Can you hear me?
Emma, can you hear him?
Yeah, I can hear you now.
Perfect.
Yeah, I'm not as high on Nebraska's depth at corner than I think some people are. The main reason is there's not a lot of experience there, but also, like, Andrew Marshall is going to be your obvious lockdown corner on one side. I agree. Danny Odom's probably your starter on the other side. I think Jameer Khan is your nickel, like you mentioned. But Jamal Charles has been in the program a long time. He's not seeing the field. Hardly at all. Jamal Charles. Oh my gosh. I just drew blank on his name. Not Jamal Charles. Jeremiah Charles.
I was
Jeremiah,
like, wait.
yep.
He's been out of college
I
a
knew,
while.
I knew who you're talking about.
He's from Port Arthur, Texas, by the way. But
Bly Hill, back-to-back injuries. Donovan Jones, does he stay at corner? Does he slide back to safety? Does he move over to nickel? I honestly did not think he played great last year.
I think you got to put him at a safety at times, or at the nickel position. I don't think he's as good as what the staff and other people around that hype him up to be.
I think, well, he's still developing too. He's only a sophomore, a redshirt sophomore at that. But just looking through the roster here, Amari Sanders going into year 3, saw some promise as a redshirt or a true freshman, then didn't see the field really at all last year. Bryson Weber, 4-star cornerback from Missouri City, Texas. That's who I'm really high on. He could be a guy that moves over to safety possibly. He's 6'3", 200 pounds. But again, that's really it. Victor Evans transferring in from FIU. I think he could be a rotational
Victor Evans, but I don't think he's Big Ten ready yet.
I agree. I think he's at best case scenario a second string guy. But Nebraska now separates corners from safeties, and so that's now that they've actually gone and officially separated them. These are your DBs: Jeremiah Charles, Bly Hill, Donovan Jones, Amari Sanders, Larry Tarver, Kamir Prescott, Bryson Weber, Andrew Marshall, Victor Evans, Danny Odom. That's it. You've got no experience in there outside of Andrew Marshall and Victor Evans' experience at FIU. It's very clear to me Danny Odom's going to be your cornerback one opposite of Andrew.
Yep, I totally agree with that. And along with that, the safeties, I don't think there's a lot of room for some of these guys that have been in the program either. I think Shiggs, Jay-Sean Shiggs, I think is his name, and then Dwayne McDougal is going to start on the other side. Whichever way that goes, I think those are your 2 starters at safety.
What's interesting is there's no longer this rover position, but like media keeps talking about who's going to play the rover. I think it's just going to be 2 corners, 2 safeties, and a nickel. So it truly is a 2 safety look. There's not a lot there. Caleb Benning looked average at best in the bowl game. Rex Guthrie's hurt. He looked average last season. Justin Rhett looked pretty bad in the bowl game.
I'm not as high on Rex Guthrie as a lot of people are. He's still a real young guy. I mean, it's true. He's a sophomore, I believe.
Yes.
Justin Rhett, high promising guy at Bishop Gorman, transferred him from Georgia. Got hyped up a lot. Hasn't proved anything on the field. When he gets out there, he blown coverage after blown coverage.
Yeah, Utah attacked him deep on, I think, the second possession of the game. Blew his coverage.
Mm-hmm.
Every time he's on the field, I'd target him every play. I don't think there's a reason for him to be on the field at all.
What's interesting is now that they don't have a rover and they have a nickel back, the 2 guys they talked about are Jameer Khan and Mario Buford, who were safeties last year. Now they're moved over to nickel. So now you just lost 2 guys to safety, from safety.
I would honestly, if you put like a smaller, quicker linebacker out there at that nickel spot, I think that opens up a lot for the defense. But then again, our linebackers aren't very quick, and I don't think there's a guy that could play that nickel position.
They did say they moved Vince Genatone from running back to nickel, but he played linebacker
I did hear that.
at Montana. So he'd be that one guy that I think kind of matches what you're talking about there.
Other than that, outside of Janatone, I don't think there's a guy that could. I kind of want to say Dexter Foster because, I mean, he's quick, but he's not. I don't think he's fast enough to play that rover nickel position.
No, he's 240 pounds. They got him there to be linebacker. Plus, he's coming off a knee injury too. So he's not even going to be available for spring entirely. He'll be in a limited capacity, I think.
And then the last thing, the quarterback room. You have 3 guys that have powerful starting experience. I think Anthony Calandria, that's his job to lose. I think he came here to start, regardless what the coaching staff says. I think Danny Kalen is the number 2. If that's the case, I do think TJ redshirts like he intended last year. I don't think it's the smartest thing to do, but I think that's the way it's going to end up playing out.
I agree. I talked about this. You know, the original plan for TJ was to redshirt last year anyways, and then Dylan got hurt. And so I think you can sell him on, hey, like, our plan is still in place. Like, instead of redshirting your freshman year, you're redshirting your sophomore year. But the intention was Dylan to be here 3 years. And after he leaves, if you developed and won the starting job, you'd be taking over. That is the exact same plan that we have in place now. The only thing that changed is you redshirted your second year, not your first year. Calandria is a 1-year rental. He can come and beat Daniel Kalen for the starting job next year. That would be how I would pitch it as, because I get it is kind of concern to redshirt him, but that'd be how I would pitch it.
The way I see it playing out is, like I said, Calandria 1, Kalen 2, Latif redshirt. Mainly because that was the plan last year. You get him to redshirt, you get 3 more, 3 more years out of him.
At least 2.
And then you got Trey Taylor coming in, and he's going to learn from TJ. That's the way I see it playing out. I don't think Kalen will play here at all. I don't think he's good enough. I think he has potential. I just don't think he's good enough to play at the Power 4 level. To start at the Power 4 level, I should say.
Yeah, I think
he probably will. I've been wrong a time or two, but
haven't we all?
Yeah, I don't know. I'll let you guys get on to somebody else. And
hey, I appreciate you, man.
Thank you guys for your time. I like the show.
Keep
it up.
Thank you so much, man.
Thank you guys. Bye.
Later. Good call by Emmett, man. Good call. All right, we got Utah man in here. Utah man, what's going on, brother? Appreciate you hopping in here.
Yeah, I just wanted to talk to a Big Ten school, since we're obviously like weeks away from joining. We all know that, right? You guys know you guys are about to have Utah in the Big Ten. We all agree? We all know that? Or is that new information to you?
That's new to me.
This is breaking news on the Husker Gutter College show.
Yeah, don't worry about it. I'm going to go ahead and explain this to you. So it isn't just a meme online that Utah is going to the Big Ten. It's totally real. There is an actual thing that happened or came out this week where Utah did have formal discussions with the Big Ten. The idea is to go to the Big Ten, but also because of our private equity deal that we did, where we gave up a large chunk of our ownership in our team for $500 million. And so that was a topic of discussion, and they've met with now the Big 12, the Big 10, a few other people, USC specifically, on how we structured our deal and all those sorts of things, because we are kind of the guinea pig on seeing if something like that might be feasible for some other schools that maybe are a bit more mid-market type things and don't have the same sort of Ohio State, USC, that type of money to try and get caught up into the new NIL world. But also there's been plenty of people reporting that this new cash influx is 100% just a way to try and make us look more valuable to the Big Ten, to where they wouldn't have to pay us a full share, whatever. We could float and stay alive for a couple of years to get into it, kind of, that half share type stuff that we've seen through realignment all over the place. So since that's all new information, I ranted a little bit longer, but I wanted to hear kind of what your guys' instant reaction is to all of that.
Justin, go ahead.
I'm not gonna lie, I'd love to have Utah in the Big Ten. I think it'd be dope. I think it would, again, like you talked about, it would bring a team that isn't like an Ohio State of the world, but it also is a very good football team and a team that's kind of, you know, building their way up in the echelon of modern college football. I think it would be great, personally. And I think there's a lot of credence to what you said, where they're building the value. I think, yeah, I would love to see Utah in the Big Ten.
It fills the one time slot that you guys don't have, which is Mountain. So there is that side of it. We're an actual AAU school, and for a lot of people, that actually matters. You guys are a blue blood; you have that, so
yeah,
you guys
true,
don't have to do shit else.
True.
But so we check a lot of the boxes outside of just, you know, being there, being a major thing. So there is a real chance of it. I think that there was rumors during the USC poaching and during that time when you guys dismantled, I'm blaming you personally, dismantled the Pac-12.
My bad.
That USC didn't want to bring UCLA along. They would have rather have had Utah go with them to the Big Ten at the time, for plenty of reasons, petty being part of it. But that was a real thing, and it's ever since then been a thing in the back of our heads, at least as Utah fans, because we were kind of nudged towards, hey, if this falls apart the way it's looking, maybe we can escape with USC and Oregon to that new place, and obviously we didn't. I personally kind of like the Big 12. I think it's fun. I think it's a cool conference. But there are plenty of people that don't, and the way that this whole thing looks like it's headed, you're either going to be Big Ten or you're going to be SEC or you're going to be dead. And unfortunately, that's kind of the writing on the wall, I think, to everything. And so I do kind of want to hear what you guys think about giving up 33% of Nebraska to a private company that obviously only wants returns on their investment for $500 million. What if that happened to you? Would you be like, hey, this is cool? Or does that instantly strike you as, holy shit, don't get that anywhere near me? It's, in my experience, one or the other.
I would love it. Nebraska should just sell to Berkshire Hathaway. It's owned by Warren Buffett, one of the richest men in the world, lives in Omaha. Nebraska Furniture Mart is a massive, massive furniture store. Throw their logo on the field. I could care less. Put the stadium as Nebraska Bank at Memorial Stadium or whatever. It's just the way the world is in college football. I hate the way it is, but at the end of the day, Nebraska's been irrelevant since probably 2011, 2012. I'll give us 2012. The last time we were relevant. And the only way to get relevant now is to start winning, and you need money to win.
It's
and
a
Nebraska
net positive.
says they have a lot, but they don't.
It's a positive if they bring more value to the conference, which ultimately will bring more money to the schools in the conference. So short term, long term, I do think it's one of those things, because it's going to be consolidated eventually anyways, like you mentioned.
I talked to a Georgia fan about the same thing, and he had the opposite reaction. And that is kind of what I've found, is either people are like, no, bring it on. Like that's fine. I don't really care. Like that, give us the money, let us do it. Or they react like the Georgia fan that I talked to yesterday and go, that's horrific. I'm actually getting mad thinking about the thought of doing that.
Not at all. I'm with it.
So, and you guys, as blue blood as you are, and you have, you know, richest men in the world type things living close to you, but market size, you guys aren't a powerhouse market, are you? Like, or, you know what I mean? Like, it's not a big eyeball market, or am I wrong?
It is.
Nebraska routinely actually has some of the highest ratings despite our ineptitude to win on the football field.
Yep.
That's awesome. I truly didn't know that. Like, in my head, it's just Nebraska is one of the, you know what I mean? They're USC, Alabama, Nebraska. You know what I mean? They're part of that group.
Yeah.
So if Nebraska's on, kind of we turn it on. But like as a market size, like I thought of, when I think of Nebraska, I don't think of anything much bigger than like Utah, like population wise or
Yeah.
anything like that. So,
When you talk about that aspect, when it's Nebraska, I think it's the amount of people that watch it. When we talk about Nebraska itself, might be a small market, but we're talking about in terms of eyes across the country, because Nebraska's, for instance, like out here, I'm in Arizona, I live in Arizona. I mean, there's 9 Husker bars in the valley that are just specifically Nebraska in just the Phoenix area, where they have traveling watch parties where they buy out the bar, and you got to show up there an hour and a half early in Arizona to even be able to get a table to watch the games. And that's with us losing left and right. Yeah. So
right.
like, I think the Nebraska itself might be a small market, but in terms of the viewership that it gets, it's a lot.
It's a true national brand, like Notre Dame or, you know, some of these other ones that are truly national brands. And that is kind of what I thought about. Like, I watch Nebraska, not on purpose, but they're on.
Yeah.
And speaking of you guys losing left and right, I wanted to obviously bring this up. Thank you for giving our new coach his first W in a just dominating and miraculous fashion.
You're welcome.
Just the first time we've ever played you, I think. You guys have always looked at us as the little brothers. Be like, oh, who would even want to play Utah? Like, he gave us that dismissive attitude, wouldn't schedule us. Finally, we were able to jump up onto the big stage and play the blue blood and just absolutely put belt to ass. And it was something, you know, going through what we were going through, losing our forever coach. You know, he's moving on to Michigan and doing that. It was a big heartbreaking time for a lot of us as fans, and to be able to just come in and just wipe the floor with a team like Nebraska was a light in a dark time. So I very much appreciate you guys giving me that moment. Big hearts through it. And that leads me to my last thing. We have this little, this old crotchety, stern, kind of mean guy. He was a coach for us forever, and now he's going on to Michigan. What do you guys think he'll do at Michigan? Do you think that was a good hire, stuff like that? I just want to hear, because he's my old coach.
They're going to be in the playoffs and probably push for a title. I love Kyle Whittingham. In fact, when Nebraska fired, who'd we fire before we hired?
I don't know, but I did a top 10 coaches for the Voice of College Football, and Kyle Whittingham was like number 3 on my coaches list. This was like a year and a half, 2 years ago, maybe a year ago. It was just like a couple years ago. Kyle Whittingham was, I don't know if he was top 3. He's definitely top 5.
So when Nebraska fired Bo Pelini before Mike Riley, Kyle Whittingham wanted the Nebraska job, but he wanted like $3.8 million a year, something like that. And Sean I, of course, was too cheap and went and hired Mike Riley. And that pissed me off, because Kyle Whittingham, I think, is one of the best coaches. With all due respect to Utah, it's not a traditional power, but he's managed to make that a program continuing Urban Meyer's success, and been a phenomenal program for, how long was he there? 20 years, probably?
Yep, 21.
Yeah, I love Kyle Whittingham.
Head coach. If you count his time that he was an assistant before that, we're in the 30s.
Is one of the reasons why I like Utah so much. I mean, I have nothing against Utah. Like,
yeah, I love Utah. Love watching them.
I just loved him as a coach. Like, he was, and what he was able to do there, it was just absolutely incredible.
He is. I think he fits when I've always, from outsider perspective, heard like what Michigan calls a Michigan man, right?
Yes.
Like that tough,
he was
gritty,
the perfect coach for them.
Yeah. He is, like, if you were going to hire someone with the attitude, maybe not the like geographical location from it, but who fits that Michigan man mantra, it's exactly him, right? Mm-hmm. And so given, as far as a hire goes for any team that did the coaching carousel this year, I truly think that was the best hire and fit. And I don't think anyone is under any illusion that it's supposed to be some long-term deal. This is we fell apart, Michigan. We were a disaster. What type of human could bring us back to what we say we are.
They failed upwards.
I don't think they could have found a better coach, to be honest. I really think it was a home run.
They failed upwards for sure. They got better at their head coaching spot, which kind of sucks considering they didn't deserve that.
yeah, absolutely.
All the crap they've gone through.
Yeah, and after a few years, he'll be gone, but that puts them back on the right trajectory and builds the culture and things that they want to have on their next, probably, their ideal forever coach. Like, couldn't be a better transitional period. And for me, being a Utah guy, like you said, not a traditional powerhouse. Like, we've only been relevant for 20 years, 2004. Before then, no one knew who we were, right? At all. Yeah, you guys we just flipped. Sorry about that. I'm sorry about it. But like, we haven't mattered. So our little engine that could chugging up this hill, we owe a lot to him, but it's not, we don't have that name recognition that you guys do to say, hey, dude, you got to knock on the door from Nebraska. You're going to read this letter. You're going to take this serious. Yeah. Utah is the one that you're like, oh, I guess I got this one right here. I guess I'll consider it. And we've built it into something where people in Nebraska, people do kind of know who Utah is a little bit, right? People that watch ball pay attention now. And a lot of that is thanks to exactly Kyle Whittingham. But we still aren't a blue blood. We still don't have the resources of Michigan. You know what I mean? And I'm honestly truly excited to see what he does with all of that stuff. I think that there is a lot of pressure on him to go and show that he really is that coach that was just missing the resources. You know what I mean? Was just missing the brand recognition. And when he gets the 4 and 5 star, we got our first 5-star player in school history this year. First one ever. We've never had a 5-star player ever until this year. So that tells you kind of what he's been working with 100% to be a top 25 team, you know? So it is, that offensive tackle, a lot of expectations from us for him to say, okay, now you do have the 4 and 5 stars. Show us what you can do.
It's been the opposite of us, where like we've had, an insane amount of talent in terms of recruiting stars and stuff like that, but we can't put it together on the field. Utah has not necessarily killed it in the recruiting game, but what they've been able to do with their coaching and what they've been able to do on the field. And I think that, kind of like we talked about, speaks to Kyle Whittingham, just what he's been able to, the coaching on the field has been incredible. Yeah. Just imagine what he can do with some 4 or 5 stars.
That's the hope. Who knows though, if it wasn't just so insulated here and the culture was so driven that it just produced the same team over and over sort of. We have our own gripes with him when he's our coach for 21 years.
Naturally. I think no matter who you're your coach, no matter what he does, like Ohio State fans wanted Ryan Day out because he was winning 11 games a year,
right, which is dumb. I am curious. Like, I think Matt Rule is a good coach and has you guys doing well, but like when I go on social media and stuff, like it doesn't seem like you guys like him. Am I like, do you guys not like Matt Rule? Because
welcome to
I don't
our
think
fan
you guys
base.
are in a bad spot with him, truly.
Welcome to our fan base. It's wild out here, especially on Twitter.
It's up and down.
Fan base is never going to be happy until we're winning national championships, which a lot of people don't realize is way further away than we think. And I think that's the problem, is everybody expects greatness when we just need to expect, we not even expect to be good. We just need to get good. And then once we get good, then we can have those expectations. I think the problem is, and me and Brian do this too, we set our expectations a little too high just because that's what we are. We win the offseason national championship. We drink the Kool-Aid a little too much. I think Matt Rule has done exactly what he needs to do in terms of the culture. I think this culture was so far gone inside the building. I don't even think us as fans realized how far away we were. And I think the problem right now is fans expected him to come in and do this 3-year turnaround that he did at these other schools, when he had to come in and overhaul the entirety of the culture. And now he's trying to build the team and the roster around that. And he has a lot of flaws in terms of his in-game management and a lot of his coaching and a lot of the decisions he's made in terms of assistant coaches and stuff like that. But I feel like the lack of excitement this year is probably for the best, because that might mean that we're going to field the better team than we have, the most consistent team across the board than we have in previous years, because every year we're like, this is the year, and we shit the bed on the field. I think things could be a little different this year, where we're kind of like cautiously optimistic and we're not, crowning this team. Maybe that's what we need.
Reverse psychology.
It sucks to say that we're dropping down our expectations. You know what I mean? Like as any fan base or anything like that, to say, hey, look, national champion isn't the expectation anymore.
Yeah.
And like that's a tough pill to swallow. Like to just do that moment, but it also keeps you from looking like a fool halfway through the season. You know what I mean? And that's being a little bit realistic is the opposite of what being a fan is.
Yeah.
And so I'll never like besmirch some Utah fan for thinking we're going 100-0 and winning 3 Heismans in a season. That's what a fan's supposed to do. You're supposed to be that way. That's part of the deal. But in a realistic sort of thing, like I don't know that this year we have a national championship team as Utah fans, but I do think we have a playoff team. Like that's I don't think that's crazy to say.
That's fair. Yeah.
And so that's where we also play in the Big 12. It's a little bit different. So, the pathway's a little bit different than, the Big 10, but I think we can get there. And if we don't, I do consider our season, hey, we didn't reach where we should have reached to. But every team has their own, right? If you're, Arizona or you're Northwestern or something like that, like make a bowl game. Like that should be your goal, be a little bit realistic on what's going to break your heart, at least during a season. I don't know. I hate to tell fans how to fan, but it is, hey, dude, just don't break your own heart getting your hopes a little bit too high.
Yeah.
You guys adopted USC and Oregon. The other ones no one really gives a fuck about. But those two came into your conference. Everyone hates USC, right? Like everyone knows that you're supposed to hate USC and they're giant pieces of crap.
USC's kind of been cool with us. It's been this weird
California though.
It's been this weird thing where like USC and Nebraska fans have kind of became like cool with each other, which I expected us to be cool with Oregon more so than USC. But USC's kind of been like, especially on Twitter, like they've been very like, cool with Nebraska fans.
Dude, I need you to stop that. I need you to knock it off.
Yeah.
Whatever they're doing, whatever tricks or magic they've done to make you think that they're not devils, like actual devils walking around like Epstein list style, like that's that group, dude. Like that's them. And I need you to put your barriers up. Put those walls up.
I'm gonna pretend like every single one of them are that arrogant whatever with the dog, the USC page with the dog. I can't stand that guy. So I'm just gonna pretend they're all him. Because that guy's a piece
like
of shit.
Arrogant nation.
He's a piece of shit.
Yeah. And they buy into it. They know it. They love it. They relish in the fact that they are entitled brats. And I need you guys to, if you've started to make a friendship with them, know the rest of the world is watching. And like, that's 100% the team that you want to associate with.
I'll keep that in mind.
For real. So I like Nebraska. You guys are salt of the earth type folks. Except you, Arizona Cali boy. That's different. Well,
I'm from Texas, at least.
There we go. But just know it's a bad representation of what you guys want to be, of what your future would be, to become frenemies or friends with that fan base. It's a bad fan base. Nobody likes them, and nobody should like them. It's important you know that.
I'll keep them at arm's length.
All right.
I trust you.
Hey, good to meet you guys. I'll see you later.
Appreciate you calling in, man. Thank you.
Appreciate it.
All right. Good call there. I like Utah. They're good people. Outside of roasting us for a little bit, but we'll accept it. All right. They did beat the shit out of us. So we don't have a leg to stand on. Yeah, we don't have a leg to stand on there. Mike, what's going on, brother?
Gentlemen, can you hear me okay?
Yes, sir, we can.
Sure can.
All right. All right, I'm stocking cooler here at work, so I didn't know. So I want to kind of go back to the previous phone call that we just had, and some things you guys said that kind of got me thinking.
Utah one or the other?
Yes, the Utah one. It got me thinking about some things you guys said. Is it truly that's just how Nebraska fans are? You know, I don't know. I don't remember how you guys described them, but unruly or whatever it was. Anyway, is it the fact that that's truly how Nebraska fans are, that, you know, they expect to win national championships and stuff every year? Or is it the fact that Nebraska can't win a simple game that they're supposed to win, that they're favored in, aka Minnesota, Iowa, you know, which, don't get me wrong, Iowa's had decent teams the last 20 years.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we struggle with Northwestern, for crying out loud. Until we start beating the teams that we should beat, nobody should be even remotely considering a national championship.
I think both things are true, because I think it's a combination of us getting our expectations too high, which makes us think we're going to easily beat those teams, like, you know, your Minnesotas of the world. So I think it's a double-edged sword. Maybe we're not thinking we're going to win national championships, but there was a lot of people, you know, that were talking about this team being a playoff team. And so I think it's like, we got to start, to your point, we got to start beating teams like the Minnesota before we get our expectations to even talking about this team but a playoff team. So I think both things are kind of true to an extent.
Right. And here's my other thing. Well, if I can remember, I'm sitting here stocking it, like I said, in the cooler, and I can't remember half the things I was going to say.
Well, you're good, man. Take your time.
So
we got all night.
Matt Rule. I shouldn't say that people hate Matt Rule. I think it's more of the fact that, and maybe this isn't the right terminology for it, I apologize, but I think Bill Moose's book really opened up some eyes with people. Like, me personally, I've been a fan for 35 years. I had no idea half of that stuff was going on, that Moose had absolutely no power, that Governor Pillen was basically running the show, and, you know, that he never wanted to hire Frost, that, you know, I had no idea on any of that. But I remember saying,
a very toxic place.
Maybe it was on this show, maybe it was not. But I remember saying, before Matt Rule got hired, specifically, that there was something going on internally that people didn't know about, that was causing Nebraska to be down the way they are. And it's coming out now with the whole Moose thing. So
yeah,
Brian,
I think
good.
I think Nebraska's power brokers have always been a problem. This goes back to even Tom Osborne. I mean, when he was the athletic director, I mean, they tried to force him to hire Turner Gill, and he wanted Bo. And, you know, I think he'd earned his keep a little bit to say, screw you, I'm not doing that. But they've always had issues. It's very toxic. From the people who you probably don't know their names, the Board of Regents, boosters, they all want their own opinions, serving their own purpose without serving the greater purpose, which is getting Nebraska athletics to be competitive. The fact that Pillen supposedly said, no, you're not hiring Dana Altman, is disgusting to me. He has not beaten Nebraska as the Oregon coach, but he has accomplished in his time at Oregon more than what Nebraska has accomplished in our entire history as a basketball program.
Yeah, absolutely.
And then to show you how toxic they are, he quote tweeted the score of the Nebraska-Oregon basketball game and had a snarky remark. Here's the thing. I love what Nebraska basketball is doing. But are we really going to sit here and act like Fred Hoiberg wasn't 5-90 in Big Ten play before this year?
Right.
Like, a lot of people calling for his head.
He before this year, in the 1 year where they lost in the tournament with Keisei Tominaga, it was an unmitigated disaster, complete disaster. And the fact that we would say no to Dan Altman because of whatever reason.
Right.
Or
Well,
they forced him to hire Scott Frost when we had Chip Kelly, an interview with Chip Kelly in his house in New Hampshire.
Yeah, anybody who said they wouldn't want Dana Altman this offseason is a liar.
Well, and the way Moose makes it sound is Chip Kelly would have walked through the door yesterday if Pillin and the Regents would have let him.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's the way I understood it, but I don't know. It really kind of opened some eyes to me and obviously I know there's two sides to every story. I get that, but it really kind of opened some eyes to me. Like, okay, if these Regents and Pillin are this bad with just football and stuff, how bad is it inside the athletics and whatnot? It's like, no wonder people don't want to come coach here. No wonder people don't want to come and play here.
Agreed.
No wonder Trev left.
Too many cooks in the kitchen. Too many chiefs. Not enough Indians. Too many people have been given power without having any actual power. Within the university.
Yeah. Absolutely. So, but yeah, I just.
Sorry, go ahead. I want to say thanks for the correction here, Troy Tucker. He was apparently talking about Sorensen at Landmeyer. So I did want to clarify that.
Go ahead with what you were saying, Brian. No, I was talking to myself about what I need here for the cooler.
What pisses me off is you have a board of regents who, at the end of the day, like if Troy Dane had fired Rule and said, I want to go hire Billy Bob on the corner, he has every right to hire Billy Bob on the corner.
Mm-hmm.
But the board of regents will not approve a contract, even if the athletic director, who this is his job, this is his direct report, is wanting to hire Billy Bob on the corner. A bunch of random people with money can say no, and you have to just bend over and take it. To me, it is ridiculous. If Dan Lanning wanted to come to Nebraska and your board of regents says no, I would just be like, screw you, I'm doing it anyways.
Mm-hmm. Right. Like, I'm going to have to go here in just a minute, but I'm going to have to go here in just a minute. I got a bunch of customers in the store, but one more thing for you guys. Wouldn't as a regent or Pillin, wouldn't you guys want the best coach here to get the best bang for your buck? Like, that's going to increase your stock. It's going to increase your revenue coming into the athletic department and all that stuff. And I'm going to hang up and listen to you guys in my earbud, like I said, because I got customers in. So
appreciate you, Mike.
Yeah, have a good one.
See you, Mike. Well,
because I'm echoing. Yeah, so go ahead. Take this one.
Okay, I'll say my thought and then jump back in real quick. Go. The thing with Nebraska is negativity sells more than positivity, and I think that's just a general rule of thumb for a lot of things in media. While yes, we as fans want high levels of success, what's going to sell your newspapers, your ads on newspaper websites, your subscriptions on third-party, Husker Online, 247, whatever, is going to be the coaching search. Who's the next head coach? Who's the next defensive coordinator? Who's the next wide receiver coach? That's just a fact of the matter. That is actually what generates money, I feel like, which is a sad reality. I'll back out.
My bad. I'm muted. Yeah, sometimes, and I'm going to try to wait for Brian to get back in here real quick because I want to bounce this off him. Brian, do you feel like it's a situation where a lot of people care more about, rather than the success of the program, more about the power that they hold over it?
Yeah, I think it's a power thing. It's an ego thing. They'd rather be right and bad things happen than be wrong and good things happen. I think that's not only just with the Regents. I think that's with Nebraska fans
in general
on social media in general. I mean, it's probably a fan thing across all spectrums of sports and teams, but I think, like last week we were talking about how people would be right than have a crappy football program, or be right like, I told you Rule sucks, then say, you know what, I was wrong, and I'm so happy that Nebraska's winning 10 games a year. Yep. Or, you know what, I was wrong, and I'm so happy that Mekhi Nelson rushed for 1,200 yards this year. It's a lot easier to be negative and be pissed off at everybody over stuff you have no control over than just say, hey, I have no control over this. I'm going to bitch and moan about the game, but at the end of the day, it is what it is.
I can think of some people specifically who may cover this team who are more worried about being right than the team being good.
100%. Yes.
Just leave it at that. Cool. All right. Well, hey, we got a lot of great calls today, man. This show went really, really well. So we got some stuff we didn't get to touch on about the defense. So I may record a video on that. I may talk about a little bit about what Rob Arch is talking about with his defense, and maybe some of an idea of what we're going to be looking at schematically defensively. So it's good to have football to talk about again. So we'll be able to talk a little bit more on Tuesday about everything we got coming up in spring ball. So y'all be sure to tune in at Tuesday, 6 p.m. Central. We'll be here to bring you everything, the latest and greatest in Husker football, Husker sports in general. Broke Matt Rule says more vids. Want to say shout out to Utah Ute Stan. Appreciate you calling in, man. It was a great call. Hopefully we'll see you back here more. We're every Tuesday and Friday. So appreciate you calling in. Emmett, thank you for the call. Boneled, thank you for the call. Pit Snipe, thank you for the test call, even though we didn't get a chance to get you in here. Thank you, Mike, per usual, for your call as well. And thank you, everybody in the chat, for participating. Thank you all for being here, man. We really, really appreciate y'all. Mike had one more question. I meant to ask, what do you guys think would be a successful spring game and practice? No injuries.
Yeah, no injuries. That's all I really care about.
Start reading the comments. Sorry, sometimes when we get on these calls, I try to focus on the calls. I have ADHD, so if I start reading comments,
it's also a call-in show.
Yeah, if I start reading the comments and then also focus on the calls, like I'm not going to be able to listen. So my ADHD kicks in. So I got to pick one or the other, because I got to be able to respond to the callers too, because they called in. So, but we appreciate all your comments. Thank you all so much, everybody who tunes in, comments to the show. Thank you, Broke Matt Rule. We really appreciate you, brother. All right. Hug Bri. It's hard when your babies break. There's a hug from Pit Snipe.
Hug my daughter. I'm not broke.
So, all right. Well, hey, everybody, thank you again. We will be here on Tuesday, 6 p.m. Central, and then we might see y'all in the meantime in a video if we end up posting one up here. So thank you again, everybody, for tuning in. We appreciate y'all. Have a great weekend. Husker basketball plays what, Saturday?
Husker basketball plays Saturday. Shout out FanDuel, our sponsor. Nebraska is minus 18.5 with the over-under at 148.5. Betting on the money line, you basically aren't going to win any money. Nebraska is minus 4,000.
You bet 4,000, you'll win 100. So,
yeah.
Go ahead and let us know how that goes. All right. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in. We appreciate y'all. We will see you on the next video. Peace.
Gentlemen, what are we up to tonight?
Did Brian accidentally?
Yeah, I think you might have accidentally banned me, and that's really messed up, right?